How's it? I'm Braddah Kaimi, and I stay drinking at Moe's tonight. Yes, sir.
This is Drinkin at Mo's, where we talk about the pros of pro wrestling in the Midwest while sipping on some brews with blessed beers and wrestling. That's my scene. Death matches and lucha libre, it's all so mean. I'm a straight up smart goofball, not no kiss ass. I stand tall when it comes to wrestling. I'm the king. I know every move, every fling. Get ready for a wild time with Drinkin at Mo's, where we don't quit. Drinkin at Mo's, that's where it's at, like a power bomb. We hit hard, never flat. Fucking right, we're living the dream. Talking about wrestling, know it's a scream.
All right, everybody, taking time out before we get this show started. I want to thank Reaper Apparel for having Drinkin' Mo's be a brand ambassador for their clothing line. They got good stuff. They got t-shirts, they got hoodies, they got beanies, they got lots of great stuff, encouraging everybody to break out of their comfort zone, live their best self, and hey, it's something I try to live every day. Now, be sure when you go and you're filling out your order, use the code Drinkin' at Moe's, get 10% off, and the link and the code will both be in the description. Let's fucking go. Everybody. Welcome, Drinkin' Mo's. Big Mo here. You know the drill by now. YouTube, like, subscribe, share, comment, all that good shit, because YouTube's algorithm continues to be a pain in the ass. We are most places you can find your audio platforms too. Most of the major ones, anyways. Today, I'm excited to have with me Braddah Kaimi. Did I pronounce it right?
Oh, bro, you were on point. You were on point than most Braddahs could ever pronounce it, so I give you credit.
Cool. Sweet. Because I've actually been to Hawaii 3 times, once before the Navy and twice during my enlistment.
Oh, yeah?
And I've been, I've been in a bit of a, trying to search for the right word here. I've been an admirer of the Hawaiian culture down there for a long time, so I try to keep up and try to, like, I don't know everything, but I try to when some of the words I try to pronounce it right at
least. Oh, bro. Speaking of, man, it succumbs to me that I haven't been home in almost a year and a half now, and being on this grind that is professional wrestling, man, it's life changing. I've had the pleasure to meet the people I've met, and abrupt decisions were made before committing to this act, but I got to do what I got to do.
Oh yeah,
but this leads me to moments like what we have right now, this interview, and I'm really appreciative that you have me on here today. So, thank you, mahalo, bro.
Very excited to have you on. I went a while back before we get into my first question. A while back, I went and was like looking at a map of the United States and looking at which states I've interviewed people from. And I'm like, after that, I just made it a mission. I am going to get somebody from all of them.
Nice.
So we're on that run right now.
Right.
So first thing I like to start off with everybody with is what got you started as a fan, and then what got you, finally deciding to make that leap into the business.
So, introduced to it by my uncle, and it's just a chain of memories, because I'm from the Big Island, and he lives in Oahu, so we'd be flying over, me and my cousins, but every time we did, I was always captivated by the fact that he had professional wrestling on in his house. I don't know what made me fall in love with it, but you know, one thing led to another, and I just started wrestling with my cousins in the room 24/7 whenever I'm around them. And it was just a thing I had in the back of my mind growing up, which I never thought I'd, touch the mat. That's like it was very far fetched for being a kid in Hawaii, seeing that there wasn't really any wrestling at the time growing up. But one thing led to another, and I just stumbled upon myself, finding out wrestling schools exist, finding out that someone like me could become a wrestler, someone like me could become more of something. And it was just a matter of time until I pulled the trigger because, like I said, it was in the back of my mind. But
Mm.
being granted that, I had these like choices, I had these decisions to make to go to college. If it wasn't for wrestling, I'd be committing to sports. I Because volleyball is my thing. Volleyball was my sport growing up. It's like one of the top sports in Hawaii, and it's just if it wasn't this, it would be me committing to volleyball. So I knew I wanted to be some sort of athletic role model kind of ordeal because the mission state in mind was, you know, fame, fortune. That's cool, but I wanted to become someone who younger me, someone who, you know, 5-year old me would fantasize being about. To become that someone was always the mission statement. And I believe this is the path that I'm achieving right now as being a professional wrestler.
Oh, that is awesome. And yeah, I do remember a couple of times being down there, Hawaii being volleyball being big. I know, hell,
Right.
my 21st birthday was actually one of the times I was down there, and it was because my the older of my two sisters was actually in a big volleyball tournament down there.
Really? Oh yeah, we have choke. We have so much clubs and so much events surrounding the sport going on. It wasn't easy not to be in the loop, especially when, well, my family's big on volleyball too. But besides the fact we'd be holding events at community centers, schools, and all that jazz. So yeah,
Oh
it
yeah,
was just hard to not grow up around.
oh yeah, and hell, the volleyball here in Nebraska, it's a huge thing. Sometimes, football. It used to be football and volleyball. Football, they're getting kind of back in the groove, but volleyball's been strong for a while now,
Right,
and
right.
we actually broke the world record for most people attending a women's sporting event, and it was they had this
Wow.
event that would have been last season where had they built this thing on the football field and held a match in the football
Oh
stadium,
wow.
and it was like it sold out quick.
Wow.
So we had like
Really?
90 some, maybe even more. I forget what the exact number, but it was at least 90,000 some people in there, just jam packed. It was nice.
Wow. Yeah,
Yeah.
no, that's just sometimes I really do miss it because I don't play as much as I used to before because I'm always spending time in the ring.
Yeah.
But, man's got to do what a man's got to do.
Oh yeah. No, I totally get you. But brings me thinking one thing when it comes to wrestling that I like to try to ask is what got you going with your in-ring persona? How did that come about? Because I know through the god dang damn near inching closer to 300 episodes now, but the
Oh, wow.
common thing
Congrats.
thank you. Yeah, the common thing that comes up is the the first little bit can be a bit of a feeling out process.
Right, right. So oddly enough, I never wanted to be like I never wanted to be this. I wanted to step away from it. Reason being is just because I didn't grow up the way that people who that I act like grow up. And it was just a matter of mannerism and attitude and looks. It was just something that wasn't me. But what got me going is when so for context, I started training in 22 in the beginning of January. I flew out to Orlando, Florida to go train with Sean Spears and Tyler Breeze at Blackbacks Wrestling School.
Flatback, yeah.
So that's where I began to like mold and caress this enigma that so with that it was just a matter of being, someone I'm not. And I found out really quick because I've I've tried to act a certain way, and I've tried to be this thing that that I envisioned myself that I would become, but it was just not clicking. And then and then in a spurt moment, I get a talk by my coaches, and they tell me to crank myself up to 11. So after that, I began to realize like animating myself and being louder, which are usually things I'm not. If you know me in person, I'm not really, I'm not really Kaimi. I'm just a smaller version of it. But they had a point. Of course, they had a point, right? They've been in the system, so it's just a matter of time until like I learn how to fine tune and not sort of perfect, but gain this persona and this attitude. And it took me a while. Like I'm still figuring who Kaimi is as of right now, but I think I got it pretty fine tuned to a certain point.
Oh yeah, and that is a common thing. With my talks is hell. I even remember my personal all-time favorite, Stone Cold Steve Austin, said it.
Oh,
Stone Cold is just him turned up to 11. So
yep,
like you get that authenticity that they're not trying to be something they're not, and then
right,
people really latch onto that because they're like, okay,
right,
that authenticity really brings people in.
right, right. And it was just a matter of time until I found out, hey, I'm not this. I'm Hawaiian. Turn that up to 11. And here I am today.
Oh yeah, and hell, going into things with MPX. I mean, what has the experience been like there for you so far?
Hmm.
And hell, you've been able to mix it up. I remember seeing, hell, this was not all that long ago, you against Fuego del Sol.
Man, I, I honestly couldn't ask for anything more. Moving from Hawaii to get on the grind here has been a change of pace, and I wouldn't ask it for any other way. Being that the talent here and, most of them around my age, I try to see in a different light. And the others with the experience, like Fuego del Sol, I try to live up to. And it was just a matter of learning off of peers who endures the pain right now. And I just think that this direction that I'm going, right, has been accumulative towards me. But honestly, it's been fun. It's been really, really fun. There's a bar here that I'm trying to meet, and I'm still on that climb.
Oh yeah, and MPX, like they're doing something that especially on the independent scene,
Right.
uh, there's uniqueness in pro wrestling is kind of few and far between, regardless independent, national TV level.
Right. Right.
But what they are doing is what really only the national TV levels do, and shows every single week, every
Right.
weekend, that most you'll get one a month, which is
Right.
independent scene is kind of the norm.
Right.
But
Right.
they got a damn grind going there, and nothing but respect for that.
Right. And I'm just so lucky enough to have a platform that does this every weekend so that I can fine tune and adjust to people like Fuego do Sol.
Mm.
And it's all nothing but a learning experience, and I take it to heart every single match.
Oh, totally.
But it's just been super fun. Like I said, I live for this.
Oh yeah.
And I'm very thankful that I got the moment in time, the blessing to move here. So
Oh
that's my
yeah.
thought on that.
Oh yeah. No, it's always nice when your family is behind you and stuff like that, because I know my family, they always like, they didn't discourage me from watching it.
Right,
They were like, he's not getting in trouble. It makes him happy.
right.
What? But yeah, no, if I were to have tried to have gotten into the business in a way different from the stuff that I'm doing right now, it might have been a little bit different of a story.
Right, right.
But the thing, I almost forgot about this, because when it comes to MPX, that I remember seeing the video when Athena and Nyla Rose were having their little feud.
Right.
And like, I know there was a time where I saw the video of her, Athena, in the ring, looked like training. I didn't know if like,
Oh, I think I know what video you're talking about.
and then Nyla Rose comes by and is like, "Surprise, bitch!"
Right. And here Braddah is getting um it's weird. We were just running training. In an abrupt motion that just happened. I I don't know what else to say then. I got Samoan dropped the hell out of me. But I don't really talk about that.
Yeah, we don't have to. But it was like, I remember I saw the video and I'm like, holy crap! I guess I didn't realize it was in where MPX does training and shit,
Oh yeah.
because you know you never know. WWE, yeah, they have the performance center. Um, AEW doesn't really have anything like
Right.
that right now. So it was like,
Right.
where did they? Was it like a place local to the town they were running at the time, or what? But then I literally rewatched the video and saw MPX in the background. I'm like, no shit.
Yeah. No, right in our training grounds, like abruptly. Just walks through the door and proceeds to murk me. Yeah.
Yeah, no, that was definitely a surprise move. And but speaking of Athena, I got to meet her one time for my friends out at, it used to be Warrior Wrestling. I think they changed to Pro Wrestling Ventures now, but
Oh, nice.
she had at one time been their women's champion, and I got to be a part of one of their shows, Fan Fest.
Mhm.
And yeah, it was funny because she was in a feud with this clown character, and she she walks in, and I don't know if somebody was recording, but they ended up
Uh-oh.
like, all of a sudden she walks in, and all of a sudden I hear this loud shriek, and somebody and that clown character was running off. I'm like,
Oh boy.
that's funny. But what makes it even funnier for me is I was actually part of a little joke on that character where they were trying to, put together, where everybody's tables were going to be.
Right. Right.
And they had this little alcove cutout area that happened to have the trash can. Well, I just put it right in front of the trash can.
Oh.
I couldn't help myself.
I don't blame you. I don't blame you.
But that leads me into, we talked about it a little bit before the recording, but meeting Matthew Palmer. He's, in where I met him in Revolver, Sammy Callahan's promotion. He at one point had this like Monster Hunter gimmick,
right?
But has since had a little bit of a change, wanting to be taken more seriously, and it's proving to really resonate with the fans because yeah, he attacked fan favorites and stuff,
right?
But going from somebody that people were cheering for to going back to being the bad guy, it was something else. What has it been like for you getting to, and I feel weird saying this title, knowing that Jericho is going by this right now, but sitting under the learning tree of Matthew Palmer, what has that been like for you?
Oh man. Like I said before, being here just set that bar. And out of all the people I'd have to thank for, raising me and helping me get to that bar is none other than him. He's like one of the people who, shown me time, and being able to train under him is a blessing.
Oh, yeah.
He knows how to tweak, and he knows how to refine, which is something that I have trouble, taking light to. So being able to go to him for advice it's just eye opening.
Oh
And I
yeah.
really do appreciate his time that he takes with me at training.
Oh, totally. And I've not had a bad interaction with him, but one of my specific memories that always comes up, and I actually talked about it with him, was a match. Swerve and Keith Lee were still the AEW tag champs, and they had a match at a Revolver show. It was Swerve and Keith Lee versus, I believe it was Matthew Palmer and Rich Swann. And Keith Lee did that overhand slap on Matthew Palmer, and it he did the fell, and like they positioned him like he was dead, and they ended up on the screen, R.I.P. Matthew Palmer.
Oh,
and then,
what the heck?
Those animal charity commercials where it's all sad and they're like, that one song.
Yeah.
They played that song. And I was just busting my goodness, laughing like crazy.
He looks like he's like it's he's so credit where it's due, because his character work, it's so refined. It's just I love watching that from Monster Hunter. And I remember this one match where he had a I think it was called the funniest match of all time, but it was a triple threat with him, Tyler Bree, I think he goes by Prince Pretty now, and Dan the Man. And I remember him. Yeah. Wait. Yeah, that's right. I got my names mixed up. But anyways, he came out entrances, but the entrances weren't working. So he went back, and I don't know what motivated. I don't know what motivated him to do it, but he came out. What are those? Not what is it called? He came out in something. It was just. I think it's called a pantyhose. But
Oh yeah.
right, yeah, dude,
Okay.
that was just that cracked me up, man.
Yeah.
He's so
I
fun to watch.
When I had him on, it was actually shortly before that match.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah. Got to talk to him about that one. That was fun. But you know, uh MPX has been having like some big stellar shows lately.
Yep.
And this will be coming out after this particular show, but I've actually had some interviews set up with Matthew Palmer with a couple different people promoting June 15th, The Purge.
Yep.
And one I had already set up with Demo Diamond, and we just threw that in there for promoting that one. But, I'm still getting acclimated to some of the new shows and, all that. And so I had
Right.
him explain to me what the Purge was. And then I'm like, oh God, that sounds right up my damn alley.
Yeah, I personally, man, I've never been in a Purge event before, but I had the honor of watching last year's one, and I remember Nyla Rose being there.
Mm.
And I think she had didn't she have that match? She had that match against Athena, right?
You know what? They might have had something there. Yeah,
Right,
I
right,
haven't been able to go back and watch that one yet, but
right, right. That was like a year
it's
ago.
on my damn list.
Right. I know MPX does like a bunch of like gimmick shows, and I just haven't had the chance to like recollect in the back of my mind each and every single one. So that's still a learning experience for me.
Oh yeah, I can imagine. But yeah, me being the fan of the hardcore deathmatch style, even
Yep.
I when I heard about that show, I'm like, oh God.
Hmm.
Yeah, like you making me jealous, wishing I could be there for that damn one. Because I've developed a little bit of a following in the deathmatch community, which I love. I've had some deathmatch legends on. I've been a fan of going back to the original ECW and stuff. Even having some people from there on, and yeah, like I said, that show is just right up my alley. So I'm definitely going to be paying attention to that one.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. It's gonna be one hell of a ride, like it is
Oh
every
yeah.
time.
Oh, I can imagine. I know. I think as of this recording, it'll be Thursday that I interview uh Sky de la Cremosa.
Uh-huh.
I'm trying to say it in my head and hoping I'm not butchering up the name, but I actually have I've had interactions with and met his opponent that night in the Carver.
Really?
Yep. Yep. I've been to many a show with him in there, and there's something about sitting front row right at the entrance and having that character walk by you. It is
Wow.
not.
Yeah, I haven't personally met him, but I've heard so many things about him, like, but just the main one being that he's just like Scott, just as crazy as Sky Dela Cremosa.
Oh
So,
man,
so that'll be an interesting match. Seeing fit that I had a death match with him, it's gonna be nuts.
oh yeah, God, man, he actually runs a promotion. It took a hiatus. I believe they're making a comeback. They've only had one show so far, but it was a no ring death match promotion, And I went to a show once, and I guess my ticket was like also an entry into a raffle for an event used item signed by everybody on the show.
Oh wow.
I didn't realize that I won until Carver literally comes up to me after the show and hands me half a door.
Oh boy.
I literally got it. It's sitting propped up right behind the camera here.
Wow, isn't that menacing?
Oh God, yeah, it's got a big old dent in there. The blood stains are still on there. First time my wife saw that, she's like, "Is that blood on there?" And I just laughed and said, "Yeah,
Hardcore.
oh yeah, gotta love it." Now, another promotion that I've seen at least advertised on your Facebook page, Hot Pro Wrestling. I've been lucky enough to interview a number of people that go through there. And, coincidentally, it seems, a lot of the people that go through MPX also have, oh, excuse me, also go through there as well.
Right.
What has it been like for you there?
So it's been fun, honestly. I get to be a face there.
No.
So it was just a matter of changing my perspective of the way I wrestle, changing my perspective of people who step in the ring with me. And man, it's just another experience to up my game and learn. And I've been appreciative of the matches I've got over there because that's exactly what each match has entailed towards me. So I wouldn't have
Oh,
it any other way.
oh yeah. And hell, I remember some of the guests that I've had on that go through there, including some people that, at least as of right now, are holding titles. But one that always sticks out to me is Brick Savage. I had him on, and like I remembered it was shortly after this video I saw of a clip of his where I joked with him on social media about it and then actually talked about it on the show that he literally reminded me of Hulk from the Avengers whipping around Loki by his leg.
Oh my
Because
goodness.
that was what that clip reminded me of, because I'm like, good grief.
Do you remember what clip it was?
Oh God. I am trying to remember what promotion it was for, but I just remember the guy was laying on the mat and he literally just by like, I think one leg just went shoo, boom. And just
Wow. Oh, you're talking about it was Dylan Cavins.
that, yeah, that, you know what? I think,
Cavins.
yeah, that name is ringing familiar for me right now.
Sure, that was Cavins getting flipped around like Loki by Brick Savage. I think I remember seeing the clip. That's why.
Yeah, I just remembered thinking and telling a few people this. I'm like, good God, if I had to take that move, I am gonna be hopefully having a change of pants in my
Oh boy.
bag when I get to the back, because I would have probably shit myself.
I'm so fortunate enough to be the height that I'm at.
Yeah, but
It
God,
helps.
he is an absolute beast.
One
And
machine.
oh God, I remember, I think I saw a post about him getting booked on a GCW show, and I'm like, oh, dude, sharing away on that.
I remember seeing it too, and that was something because he's
No,
that's talent right there,
no, yeah.
rightfully deserved, rightfully deserved.
Oh, totally. I'm anticipating big things from that guy, and no pun intended, because that dude is one big son of a bitch.
Yeah, yeah, you're telling me.
All right. So I have two categories here. One's a bit of a name game where I name off some people and you give me some quick thoughts on them. And I try to theme it towards the guest as much as possible. And these two of them, I split it up. Two of them have the, Hawaiian Pacific Islander sort of
Right,
roots,
right,
and, the Polynesian sort of roots.
right, right.
And the other two have the Texas connection.
Right.
So, like I said, I name off a name. You give me quick thoughts on them.
Far away.
First one, and well, coincidentally enough, the first two on this list, I've actually been able to meet them both.
Oh, nice.
And I actually have a signed figure from one of them. But the first one, Jeff Cobb.
That's he's a freak athlete.
Oh,
I've been for I've never met him before, but I know he's of Polynesian blood. Man, I envision what's the word? Oh, I manifest every day to wrestle people like Jeff Cobb who are of Polynesian blood, just for the fact of like, you know, be us being in the same spot in that same spotlight and being able to study off of guys like Jeff Cobb and like Samoa Joe. It's
mm,
just it feels like I'm not the only one, you know.
oh yeah. Like,
Jeff Cobb, great wrestler, great
oh,
wrestler.
totally. And actually, my one of my hobbies behind here, my wrestling figure collection, but a lot, and my prized ones, they're all signed. Boom, Jeff Cobb.
Wow, look at that.
That's why I had to bring him up. So the next person, it actually reminded me when I saw a video on this. I believe it was actually Monday Night Raw when I saw this. They're starting to do some videos of people of, Pacific Islander, Polynesian heritage, talking about different things, like a short little clip.
Hmm.
But this guy was actually Jeff Cobb's opponent the night that I met them both.
Really?
Big Bronson Reed.
Oh, man. It's I've never seen his work before he got signed, but watching him on Raw, man, that boy can move.
Oh God, yeah. Oh
And
yeah.
I enjoy seeing this category of big men being able to move the way they move because man, I never being the size I am, like you figured I could do stuff like that, but I'm scared. I'm scared to do sorts of stuff like they do.
Oh yeah. They're definitely in the category of big men that you wouldn't expect to be able to do the,
Right.
like, almost flying around like cruiserweights in a way.
Right. Right. And oof, man, as much as a grounded wrestler I am, I try to live up to that sort of height. So
Mm.
I gotta I gotta lock down in the ring now. So
Oh, but the thing with those first two that I mentioned, that I remember, I was relatively close, and seeing the two of them chopping each other, literally seeing the individual beads of sweat flying off of them.
jeez.
And Jeff Cobb, a little bit smaller than Bronson Reed. Like, we'll just be honest there. But seeing Jeff Cobb pick up and suplex Bronson Reed, that,
Wow.
that was something I will not forget. And I
Wow.
actually got to have a little bit shorter of an episode with Bronson Reed
Oh
before
wow.
that show. Like
Wow.
I mentioned, being a part of that fan fest. Well, he was nice enough that as soon as the fan fest ended, he took some time out to talk to me. And like, I remember I kept on thinking, do you got to get back there? Because it was like in between when the fan fest ended and like right as he was like having to go to the back to get his gear on and stuff.
Jeez.
And I'm just like, I kept on thinking, you got to get back there. He's like, no, we're good.
Wow.
I'm
Oh,
like,
that's cool of him.
oh yeah, totally. Another experience I will not soon forget. All right, now for the Texas connection ones. First one, a guy I would love to have on but haven't yet. Chavo Guerrero Jr.
Chavo Guerrero Jr. Man, I I personally like I said about Cobb and Reed, being able to have that aspect of leaving my feet, man, it's just that bar, man. He's just one of those guys like work, man.
Yeah,
I can't really
sometimes trying to find the right words can be a
right.
little, but yeah, he has that, teaming with, his, I believe it was Uncle Eddie, and the stuff that the both of them could pull off, and,
Hmm.
the way this just natural ability they both had of, connecting with the audience and really
Right,
drawing them in was
right,
just something special.
right.
And
And
yeah,
I try to live up to that.
oh, hey, good, good, good. Now here I am trying to find the right words for something, but
Right.
a good thing to look up to. People that have that ability, definitely a good thing to look up to. Last but not least, here, doing great things in NXT right now, Roxanne Perez.
Man, just it's because it's so crazy that she comes from here, right? And it was just a matter of perspective. Like, she's not that older than me, but damn, does she deserve to be in the position where she is right now? And
Oh yeah,
I give credit to anyone anyone trying to be that path. And
oh yeah,
but Roxanne Perez, I love her work. I love her
no,
work.
totally.
I watch NXT on a daily basis, and her matches are great. I love her work.
Oh yeah, I, you know, her in the current persona she has, being the heelish sort of character,
Yeah,
it's taken me some getting used to,
right,
because she's always been that perennial baby face.
right,
So
right.
like,
But
but she's
it,
seeming to really sink into it.
yeah, yeah, because it's just been that. That's when I started like seriously watching NXT when she was, man, I just love her as a baby face. But this like heel turn, it's like a
Oh yeah,
serious point in her time, and I think it just acclimated perfectly for her.
oh yeah. All right, now I have some random questions. Some might be wrestling related, some might not be. Some might have absolutely nothing to do with anything we've talked about so far.
Right.
So I give you the question, First answer that pops into your head. First one, craziest in match moment for you.
Um, when I got stolen, so me and Dae Deville, we had our MPX tag team titles practically stolen from us
Hmm.
by the shot caller of that night. I'm not, I don't remember who it was, but I remember on the ground and seeing Matthew Palmer run into the ring and beat up Dae Deville shortly before manhandling me in a torture rack.
Mm, yep.
That night I will never forget.
Oh hell, and you bring up this perfect uh bringing up reminded me. Past guest Dae Deville. Yeah,
Oh
his
yeah,
episode just came out literally. Oh, trying to not last week, but like the week before that.
right.
So yeah, that was a fun one. All right, now we've kind of talked, being heel, being the face. There's different wrestlers have different preferences, which one they like doing more than the
Mm-hmm.
other.
Uh-huh.
Which way do you lean on that?
Honestly, if I could be blunt, it'd have to be a face. Although I do enjoy my work as a heel, and I feel that it is easier being a heel than a face. I just love getting adorned, and not for the reasons of being ego, being this being the guy, but
Yeah,
just taking how do I put this? Appealing. I like appealing to the better nature of people. It's just the kind of guy who I am.
no, hey, makes perfect sense. I can definitely relate that I can feel like being the heel and making people just absolutely despise you can definitely be easier than
Right.
having to really work to get people to, get behind you and cheer you on.
Right. And it's just this idea of having this short frame of 15 minutes for you to take a take a liking to me.
Yeah,
Crazy. And it's
yeah.
hard work, but
Oh, I can
it pays
imagine.
off.
I bet. All right. Now, I mentioned hobbies, my collections and stuff I got behind me here. And I know that wrestling can take up a lot of time, but hobbies that you have, if any.
Like I mentioned before, I haven't been doing as much, but volleyball is one.
Okay. I
Other
can.
than that, I take a I take a liking to making beats. The
Okay.
entrances I have the entrances I use at Metroplex Wrestling and Heart of Texas Wrestling, I've made those theme songs. Yeah.
Nice.
So it's that's pretty much it.
Hey, that does take some talent to do, putting ones that really flow together like that.
Right, right.
Definitely. All right. Now, with the name of a show like I have, I would feel weird if I didn't have this question in here. Favorite drink, whether it's alcoholic or non, or hell, one of each, because I like to tell people just because it says drinking at Moe's doesn't mean that it has to be alcoholic.
Right. Right. I don't drink alcohol, but what I do adorn the most, it's it's called the juice the juice chain. It's called a pog. It's a passion orange guava kind of juice, and it's
Mm,
just it hits home. It hits home every time. It reminds me of home.
I definitely sounds like it would. That sounds freaking delicious. Definitely sounds freaking delicious. All right. Last but not least here, best advice you have for anybody wanting to follow their dream and get into wrestling.
Ah, I live. I try to live by. the mission statement of inspire to change and change to inspire, and appealing to the better nature of people can greatly benefit something. And there's a reason to everything. But if I had to shorten it, I think I would say something along the lines of yes, please take the time, whether it benefits you or it benefits someone else, as long as it's well intended, 100% pursue it.
Oh
Don't
yeah.
look back.
Yeah, and I've had people along the same lines say stuff like that.
Right.
And then they also say, you know what, maybe you'll find out that, the in-ring performer aspect isn't for you, but there's plenty of jobs in the wrestling business outside of that maybe you find out one of those works better for you.
Right.
But you're still getting to be a part of the show.
Right.
Definitely. All right. Well, before we go, where can people find you social media wise so if they don't already have their eyes on you, they go ahead and get them there?
I have Instagram and Twitter. It's ITZ underscore KAIMI. And on Facebook, it's Braddah Kaimi.
All right. Yep. And I believe, well, at least Facebook, I have you on there. I'll definitely, if I didn't already have you on Facebook or not, wow, words are hard today.
Right.
Instagram and Twitter, I will definitely be adding you on there, and we'll get all of that information in the description. But that is about all I have. Want to thank you for taking the time to talk to me tonight. Best of luck out there with both MPX and Heart of Texas Pro Wrestling and
Oh, thank you so
everywhere
much.
in between.
Thank you so much. I really do appreciate it.